Yeah, for those, I think the challenge, not the challenge, but the unknown factor comes in. Not sure exactly what the wicket's going to do. I think that's possibly the biggest thing that we are unsure about. You look back at games that have been played in Pakistan, and you look at when it was, and it was 13 years ago. So you try and not read too much into it. So we've kind of, as a team, try to prepare for everything and anything, over prepare, spin conditions, reverse swinging ball, and then obviously an element of what it looked like 13, 14 years ago when it was good wickets and was flat as well. So we've tried to do as best as we can. Today was our first practice at the main ground, and also I think the wickets that is from a practice facilities to a pitch in the middle, I think is also different. So yeah, if I have to call it, I'll probably say that I think the wickets will be a bit more subcontinent-like than it used to be back then. So spinners would probably be a little bit more in the game. How's it, Telford? No, it's just been hotel. So our only visuals of the outside is when we are leaving the hotel to go to the ground, and whether it's for practice or for matches. So, I mean, we've had a couple of practices, and we played a 2-day, almost an inter-squad game / middle practice. That's all been at the same venue. So for now, enjoying the four walls of my room, and then the pitch outside where we can get to do what we love. No, I think that's a very long time ago, and a very different team. I think both South Africa and Pakistan are probably similarly placed where they are in terms of their teams. Quite a lot of inexperience, not a lot of test caps within the team. So I think both test teams are still figuring out the way forward in terms of trying to gain as much experience as possible. So for all of us, it's the first time playing test cricket in Pakistan. But for a lot of our team, it's the first time playing in the subcontinent, really. So, yeah, I think we're expecting it to be a very, very tough ask against Pakistan. They're a very dangerous team in their own conditions, as with any other subcontinent team when you play against them in their home conditions. So, yeah, I mean, from my own personal point of view, we've always heard that Pakistan is one of the best places to come and bat. Teams come here and they score big runs. So I'm hoping that's the case again this time around, when there would be big scores, almost day 1, 2, and 3 belonging to the batters, and then day 4 and 5, spin and stuff like that comes into equation. That's what it was like back then. But just from a personal point of view, I'm expecting it to be a little bit different. Maybe just spin a little bit earlier than it used to back then. I think I've only played probably a handful of test matches against Pakistan, as I think probably 6 or so. It's difficult to put one specific something on it. The last series we played against them at home was in Dubai, where I remembered someone like Saeed Ajmal was a challenge for me as a young new batter in touring in subcontinent conditions against a high quality spinner, where I had to figure out and I suppose grow from that tour. I remember very well that every single time I went out to go and bat, Saeed Ajmal was warming up. So it was sometimes I would wake up in the middle of the night and he would be bowling at me. But at the last home tour in South Africa, I remember getting, I think, a pair, in the first test, and then I got 100 in the next. So You don't read too much into that situations like that. You get a good ball when you early in your innings. It's about cashing in when you get it when you get in. So I'm batting well at the moment. I'm feeling good, and I just really want to play my best cricket. I'm really excited for this tour. I've worked hard, and I'm looking forward. I want to also put in some good performances in this subcontinent. It's really important for me as a batter to do well overseas. From an outside perspective, from what it looks like to me is that they're trying to manage him well. Trying to make sure that he doesn't have to do too much stuff. Not too many press conferences, not too many meetings, not too many things that is not necessarily right now that we need to put on Quinton's plate. Obviously, some of that comes with being captain, but I think all of us wants Quinton to still be the best batsman that he is, and that's that free flowing Quinton de Kock that he's always been. So just from the outside, it looked like they possibly from a management point of view, they're trying to make sure that they don't put too much on his plate. Mark Boucher and the coaching staff tries to do most of the things when it comes to setting up practices and even talking and planning and meetings and stuff like that. I don't think that's something that Quinny needs to worry about too much. So it just looks like they're trying to make sure that they're trying to take some of the burden off him so that he could still focus on just playing cricket. I think we know that that's when Quinny's at his dangers, when he's just in his free playing self. So obviously having Baba back is massive for them. I would say he's up there with probably the top 3 batters in the world at the moment. His last 2 seasons in all formats has been nothing short of remarkable. And I think any team, especially a growing team, if you take out their best batter, it does leave a big hole. And his injury has proven that if you take his runs out of the team, it becomes a team that you feel like you can get on top of pretty easily. So with him back, it will give the rest of their batting lineup and also their team a lot of confidence that the best players back. He's always been in really good form. So he'll be the first guy from a batting point of view that we need to make sure we take care of. And then from a bowling perspective, Freddie has obviously been hot the last 2 seasons as well. He's been getting a lot of wickets. So probably someone like him would be pretty dangerous. Yeah, that's an interesting question, which I think is, almost the balance of where cricket lies at the moment is you have Test cricket that's always been the most purest form of the game, and players who play all 3 formats always talk about Test cricket being the ultimate test. But you've got T20 cricket coming in now as this product that is really working across the world and very attractive for a lot of players. So I suppose that's going to be the challenge for the next generations, to make sure that we have young kids wanting to play Test cricket because the T20 game is so attractive. And someone like myself who has done both see the value in both. Test cricket is still the purest format of the game, but the circuit of playing T20 cricket is also very attractive for players like myself. You spend less time away from home. If you do 3, 4, 5 tournaments a year, you're probably only playing for 6 months of the year, versus obviously if you put an international scheduling to that, playing 11 months of the year. So it's a balancing act, which is going to be very important for the future of Test cricket, how well we keep looking after Test cricket. Yeah, I think because me and some of the other players who's been to the IPL as well, which is that extra long bubble for this season. it's been a tough season. We've spent a lot of time in bubbles, which we're very grateful for the opportunity to play cricket, because I think first and foremost you need to look at that. The main priority is to play cricket, to be out there doing what we love instead of being at home and not being able to play cricket. So I think that's still remains the most important thing. But I think there would definitely come a point where players would struggle with this. I think some players would cope with it a little bit better. Some players might hide it a little bit better. But the back-to-back bubbles, I suppose, is where the real challenges lie. We've got Australia next, and then Pakistan straight after that, and then the IPL again. So, if you look at a calendar year of the last 8 months, you're looking at about 4 or 5 months in a bubble, which is a lot. Right, even for some of us without family, it can get challenging. Right now, I'm still in a good place. I'm still feeling really motivated and driven, but I can only speak for myself. So I know that it's important that the people that look after the well-being of the players needs to make sure that is something that's always being looked at. I don't think it's possible to continue from bubble to bubble to bubble. I've seen and heard a lot of players talk about it. I don't think it's sustainable. So we understand that this is a very tough season and a tough challenge for a lot of people out there. So we're very grateful just to be playing. But it is, if it's back to back to back, the bubble life thing would become a big challenge. Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, obviously from a conditions point of view, it's almost like the game's moved a little bit. It's moving a little bit away. I won't say away from reverse swing, but the umpires and the rules on trying to scuff up the ball has obviously become very strict with everything that's happened. So, bouncing the ball in the rough and stuff like that has become less of late. Also, if you play in the subcontinent, what happens quite often is that next to the pitch, the square is quite green and quite moist. So the general scuff up of the ball doesn't happen as it used to. So, yeah, I'm quite interested to see what role reverse swing will play this series. But reverse swing, technically, the most important thing to play reverse swing is that you play the ball very late. So that's something I've been working on, is making sure that I don't commit too early to playing a shot, but really letting the ball come to me and making my shot selection as late as possible. And then from a spin point of view, when you come to the subcontinent, the theory is always like in South Africa when we play and miss against the seamer, when the ball nips, the same thing applies in the subcontinent. If a guy bowls a good ball and it's spun past your bat, it's just making sure that you mentally see it like it was a good ball and it went past the edge, past your bat, and you played it well. But also there are obviously a few scoring options is what the guys are working on, making sure that you're looking at 2 or 3 ways of getting off strike. I think the challenge for a batter becomes when a spinner bowls a lot of dot balls at a batter and you feel like you're stuck and you can't get off strike, and he just settles into bowling into a really good area, which Yashashra is very good at. He's got really good control. So if you just let him bowl at you, he'll bowl really well at you. So you need to make sure you've got some plans to try and either get ones of him or try and get some scoring options in terms of boundaries as well. I'm glad there's confidence in my voice. That's a great sign of a space that I'm in. So thank you for that. What's the old saying is, fake it till you make it. So I'm glad that's paying off. No, it's just I'm just enjoying my cricket at the moment. I'm trying to make sure that I put myself in a position where I do the work, I prepare as best as I can, and then whatever happens, happens, and I'm okay with that. So I think that's just it's just coming from a place of contentment, really. Enjoying the time that I have with the team here. Grateful to be playing cricket again. So I'm really more, I think it comes from a mental point of view where I'm very purposeful or intentional in making sure that I really enjoy my cricket. And if that comes through in performances or the way that I speak, then I'm glad that it's happening. Dankie vir daai Afrikaans. Dis die eerste keer dat ek die woord bioborrel hoor, sodat jy my taal mooi seker maak dat dit nog reg is. Ja, dis vir ons kyk, dis net, so ons almal verstaan, jy moet leer om daarmee te werk. Soos wat ek gesê het in Engels, dat die eerste en die belangrikste ding hierso is om te sê dat ons speel cricket, en ons is baie dankbaar om te kan cricket speel. Die 4 of 5 of 6 maande wat ons nie cricket gespeel het nie, was soos vir enigiemand wat nie kon werk nie, was nie lekker nie. So ek dink dit is heel eerste op die tafel om te sê ons is baie dankbaar en wil baie graag cricket speel. Dan die tweede gesprek na dit is dan hoe lyk die bioborrel, soos wat jy sê is. Ons het begin in 2 maande met die IPL en dit waar daar geen families saam was nie, en toe terugkom en toe dadelik in die bubble met Engeland, en al twee daai bubbles was daar nie familie saam gewees nie, so ek was in 'n proses waar ek my familie baie min gesien het in daai 3-4 maande, en toe natuurlik wat nou gebeur, nou is ons in die volgende baie bubble wat jy weer nie jou familie sien nie, want ons is oorsee in Pakistan, hulle mag nie saamkom nie, en dan het jy weer jou toer wat nou teen Australië is, en dan daarna teen Pakistan, en dan daarna gaan ons weer IPL toe. So vir my die grootste challenge persoonlik met bubble life is familielewe. Ek is op 'n plek in my loopbaan waar familie en tyd saam met my familie baie belangrik is. So wat die bubble moeilik maak met dit is die feit dat hulle nie nou saam met ons kan travel nie, waar vir die laaste 3 jaar wat ek internasionale cricket speel, travel my familie saam met my. So dit is vir my die moeilikste aanpassing gewees in hierdie tyd. En dan na dit kry jy die challenge van hoe dit lyk in 'n baie bubble, en dit beteken jy is altyd in jou kamer, jy kan nie uit die hotel uitkom nie, so ons kan nie swembad toe gaan buite nie, jy is heeltyd in jou kamer, en dan die enigste tyd wanneer jy buite jou kamer kom is om te gaan oefen of om te gaan speel. So ek sal nie sê dis onmoontlik nie, dit is nie. Ek dink as jy seker maak jy doen die regte goed om jouself jou mind sterk te hou, dan is dit fine, dis baie doable. Ek dink net jy moet in die langtermyn kan dit nogal challenging raak. Ons weet nog nie wat gebeur met die Australiaanse reeks in terme van wanneer ons by mekaar kom en hoe daai baie bubbles lyk nie. Maar weer eens, ek sê, soos vir my die moeilikste deel sal wees as jy nou direk van hier af moet gaan, direk in 'n nuwe bubble, en beteken dat jy is 4 maande weg van die huis af, en dan daarna teen Pakistan en daarna teen IPL, so dan kyk jy na 5-6 maande in 'n ry wat jy nie by die huis is nie. So dit kom met challenges, en ek dink een van daai maniere wat Cricket Suid-Afrika dan daarna sal kyk is, hoe kan ons ouens breuke gee van toere af, of dit nou 'n T20 is, of 'n eendag reeks. Ek dink toetskriket is al 'n unwritten rule dat jy rus nie in toetskriket nie. So ek dink hulle kyk meer na witbal cricket om ons 'n bietjie 'n blaaskansie te gee. Maar ja, die val nou wat gebeur met Suid-Afrika, wat baie lande bietjie huiwerig is met die second strain in Suid-Afrika, maak dit ons nog meer ernstig oor hoe seker die bubble moet wees. So span soos Australië wat nou kom, jy weet, hulle gaan daarna kyk. So vir my is die belangrikste ding, ek wil net tyd saam met my familie ook kan hê. Sipakazi, hy is slim, hy vra kort vrae want hy weet ek antwoord lank, nee.
Hy is baie slim, ja.
Ja, ek dink ek het nie gepraat met die management hieroor nie, maar ek dink ek sien raak dat in terme van workload vir Quinton is dit baie belangrik dat daar nie ekstra goed op sy skinkbord gesit word nie. As dit om 'n batter te wees en om 'n keeper te wees en om self kaptein te wees en besluite te maak in terme van wat op die veld gebeur en goed. En dan daarna weg van dit af draai maak in sy span, maar lyk of hulle redelik baie selfdraai doen. So ek dink in daai mate draai hulle 'n bietjie af van sy skouers af, kry dat hy nie te veel ander goed hoef te doen om seker te maak dat hy nie op 'n plek kom waar hy voel dat die kapteinskap vir hom te veel raak nie.
Thanks, Buff. I just have one question that came in via text. It's about the current ODI between the Pakistan women and the South African women that's taking place in Durban. It's a Black Day ODI, which is the reason for the match is to bring awareness about gender-based violence. The question is, firstly, how important is it for people to start speaking out more about gender-based violence, particularly from a men's point of view? And then lastly, just how important is it for women's cricket that the players also start getting more and more game time? You can maybe speak to us from a player's point of view on that.
First of all, I'll speak from a male perspective. I think it's really, really important that we do create awareness on this. It's something that I don't take lightly at all. And I think you could see from a Proteas men's team point of view, we were very intentional to stand up for that against that as well in one of our test matches, that it's not just a women problem in our country. It's a us problem in South Africa that we need to be, especially as males, be better. It's not if you look at the stats on gender-based violence in South Africa, it is insanely ridiculous. So yeah, at the moment, that's probably for me one of the most important things in our country, is that we as males do that better, that our country becomes more aware of what's actually going on and how badly that situation is. So yeah, I've had lots of conversations on this specific topic with people that I want to make sure that I learn as much as I can, because and the more you speak about it, the more your mouth just drops open with what's exactly going on in South Africa with this. So great cause, one that I'm very, very happy to be supporting, and something that I think us as Protea men's cricket team can get involved on a much higher scale. And obviously great to see the ladies doing their thing, playing in black, creating awareness for people around the world to see what they are doing. And yeah, they're doing really well at the moment. So it's great to see that the women's cricket game is growing, and see our ladies perform on a international stage as well in the tournaments around the world.
Thank you. And then just finally, how important is it for women's cricket players to have more game time, particularly after the long break because of COVID?
I think what's important about women's cricket is what it's doing at the moment is, at the end of the day, all you want to do is you want to have more people interested in playing the game of cricket. So the fact that women's cricket around the world, but more importantly in South Africa, is growing, is what it's doing is, little girls are seeing women playing on TV, playing cricket, doing well, playing in the Big Bash. The women's IPL that started now, they're seeing that. So you're creating more people that are interested in the game of cricket. And that's a great thing to see grow. So very happy to see that.